Welcome to the Royal Court of Fairy Godmother Gaming World. I'm the Scribe. If you are ready to win, remember to put on your magic feet compression socks, the equipment for winners and heroes. Pick a pair today. Alright, I just wanted to go ahead and get through that tutorial and those cutscenes just because it was constantly going to be interrupting me while I was explaining some things. So let me go ahead and explain a little bit more of the hero's journey. This is a concept that was first solidified by Joseph Campbell. He discovered when he was doing research writing stories that a lot of Greek mythology and other religions as well usually followed this setup in order to tell stories. And these stories were always extravagant, where the hero or heroes of the journey start off with humble beginnings. As we can see here with Jak and with Daxter, they're in their home area, the kids are growing up, there's peace, but there's also a sense of urgency what's going on. And the island that the sage, Samos, warned them about, Misty Island over there, there's trouble brewing. Something's happening in order to create conflict in the world that falls upon a character or set of characters within the story in order to push the plot along. Now, there's some other things that are really interesting how they go about the hero's journey in this game. One major thing that I've noticed is while there's the hero's journey happening for Jak, it's also happening for Daxter, and his side of the hero's journey skipped a few steps. There's about 17 steps within the story of the hero's journey. And for Daxter, he experiences one of the later aspects of the hero's journey.
Hey! It looks like scout flies are always in red boxes!
Where he experiences the transformation sequence, literally, earlier on than Jak does.
Hey! That pelican just snagged a power cell! Let's go kick some big bird butt!
Now, I'm aware of some of the parts where the characters talk, so if I do suddenly stop talking, it's just so I'm not talking over them at the moment. Now, with the hero's journey, it's not just a personal...
Alright! Treasure!
It's not just a personal experience that's happening. The experience that is happening with the hero is also shared with other members within the story. Now, that can mean love interests, that can mean an enemy. These are things that do happen overall in most stories as well. But how it goes about it with Jak and Daxter, there's a few things that are happening almost simultaneously. Like I said, Jak and Daxter are having the hero's journey at the same time in two different areas within the story within the plot that it follows. Now, there's other instances as well where as the story progresses, we'll bring up the love interest again. Usually that's not brought up until much later, but within the first cutscene you can see this happening with Samos's daughter Kira, where she's immediately introduced as a potential romantic interest towards Jak, possibly Daxter, depending how the story may progress. However, she's already opposed to it. Before I pick that up, I do want to say that there are also supernatural aspects of the hero's journey. It's not just all realistic and all these modern type of influences that we have on stories. There's some sort of religious aspect to it as well. However, in most video games, there's unless it's specifically stated or that is the plot line of the story, there's not really a lot of religious aspects to it that mirror our own. You could argue, yes, that the sages, the different types of sages, the ecos, the precursors, those are a religion solely fabricated for this universe, but it's not a religion that people follow in reality. That's a big thing too, that mythology in different religions as well. Very well known in Greek mythology, where this type of story is explained. However, there are instances where the hero's journey is seen in other cultures as well, usually seen and shown as a way for warning for people to not venture out too far, or if they do, they need to be careful on where they go, on what they do, who they trust, because these people, these experiences can become allies, learning experiences as well, or even life and death situations.
Well, I see that you two have finally decided to unblock my collectors. I would offer my congratulations, but you have so much to do I won't waste your time. By the way, if things don't work out, Daxter could always get a job controlling the village rat problem.
As Samo speaks, it reminds me of another aspect of the hero's journey, that there's always an older outside source that comes in some way to guide the hero as he goes on with all these quests.
Punch those poles up from below!
All these quests and trials that happen to him or her that provide some sort of either father figure as well, or some sort of teacher, mentor sort.
We scrounged enough orbs to trade for a power cell. Let's get back and make the switch already.
Gotta love those early 2000 games where the characters constantly talk. So for Samos, he is that wise old mentor. Now, how he goes about teaching his things is very interesting. A lot of the times the mentor may be like a bit more kinder, as we can see he's already making the expense of Daxter's predicament into a joke. And while he takes it seriously that he is aiding Jak and Daxter in their adventure to have them, fix the problem what's going on, he also uses this opportunity to guide Jak into maturity, into exploring parts of himself and parts of the universe that he may not have ever really cared about. He expresses this in the first cutscene as well, that Jak is immature, he doesn't care about these things that he should care about. He just, he's a kid, which is a huge thing that I want to touch on in a moment.
Hey, seagulls! Let's buzz them for kicks.
That has become a recent phenomenon in the modern take of the hero's journey. So before, a lot of times, a lot of these characters would usually be maybe young adults, older characters, but not really children. That wasn't really seen as its pivotal point or its selling point for the hero's journey to happen, because it's like, why would you see a story or game or something that revolves around the kid. However, there are other forms of media that has taken on to this, and it's become a staple at this point, where the younger the main character is, or the main cast, the more an audience can relate to it. It's expanding onto a younger, and now it's been tapped into audience. Before it wasn't really tapped into. Let me explain a little bit about that. So Jak and Daxter are relatively young. They're considered children in this universe. And there are other medias as well. Really popular TV shows like Adventure Time, Avatar The Last Airbender, Naruto, My Hero Academia, things like that. Those are fairly recent enough that takes advantage of the hero's journey told from a child's perspective. And then we can see a lot of the innocence as well as a lot of the darker things that people may not want to realize or want to tell, that hey, you know, just because they're a kid, that doesn't mean that they don't understand what's going on or they don't have their own struggles. So we're starting to see this happen in about late 90s, early 2000s, where this shift suddenly changes. In it, one of the more popular ones from another game as well is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That is a fantastic another narrative for the hero's journey that uses and further expands on that youthful innocence suddenly taking a darker or sudden turn that wasn't really expected. For Jak and Daxter, it's the biggest thing for them was, you know, Jack's best friend. It was his fault that Daxter became what he is, and now he has to fix this problem. If he's never been disobedient before, and if he never went to Misty Island, this game might not have happened as the way